Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Marketing Mondays. I am your host, Ira Bowman, and I'm really excited about this episode. The main reason is I assume that most of you probably got into business for a variety of reasons. But on that list for just about everybody includes making money. You need to make money. Otherwise, it's not a business, it's a charity. Hello, Ingor, my friend. Look, if you guys are watching this and you're not connected with Ingor, I want you to go to her profile right now, click the connect button, and tell her that you saw her on my show. I promise you, you will not regret it. She is an amazing, amazing person from Toronto, Canada, by way of South Africa. She is the only Canadian that I've ever met who still sounds like she's from South Africa. It's so cool to talk to her, and she's a really good person. Anyways, give her a shout. But I need to stay on focus on message today because we got a lot to do. What are we gonna do today? I'm gonna explain what keywords are. I'm going to show you a variety of ways to find out what keywords you should be looking for to utilize in your marketing materials, especially on your website. I'm going to show you how to figure out how much competition is for these words, because some words, like I'm just going to share a little bit, kind of like about Bowman Digital Media. We're in a very large space in this online marketing, digital marketing, ad agency space. That's where we live. And there are companies out there who dwarf us. They're giants. They're the Goliaths, if you will, and we're the Davids, right? So if you have a company like mine where we're not a 7-figure company, we're still a 6-figure company. So if you swim in a space where there's a lot of giants, how do you know what to do, what words to focus on, and what content to write around? Well, that's a large part of what we're going to do today. So I'm going to share with you a formula that any of you can use. Once I teach you how to do some of this research, you'll understand what keywords to go after. But then I'm going to teach you a formula that can help you figure out how much there would actually be worth to you if you were to get to the top spot on any of these keywords in Google. And that will help you figure out how much marketing you should be doing, especially if you're going to pay for it, because not all keywords are equal. There is a large discrepancy between being number one for just anything and being number one for one of the gigantic behemoth keywords. And those, again, they're probably not realistic if you're watching this and you're bootstrapping a company, or you got a brand new website, or maybe you don't have anybody on your marketing team. But if you work for a company like Coca-Cola or Xerox or Kleenex or something like that, boy, you can tell I'm kind of old, right? Because the examples I use for enterprise companies are dated. But anyways, whatever, get past that with me. Help me out. Oh, I got my friend Brian Schumann on here. He's a fellow Southern Californian. He's a good friend of mine, and I'm always thankful when he jumps in, or I get to jump into one of his comments. We cheer each other on, and I appreciate his friendship more than I think even he realizes. Great guy to follow, Brian Schulman. If you are not following him, go to his profile now. He's maxed out long ago, but you can follow him and then send him a little note and said, "Hey, I saw you on Ira's show." I sure would appreciate that. But look, keywords, this formula will help you figure out, is it worth chasing? How much you could stand to make by claiming that first spot, and then how much then would be appropriate in your budget to spend to chase it. So some of you might be spending more money than really you should, chasing keywords, and some of you aren't spending enough. And so we'll have to clarify all of that. Now, you don't have to remember any of this because it's being recorded. That's number one. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to do a few things. I learned a trick. I'm kind of embarrassed to admit this, but I just learned a trick on StreamYard, how I can make sure my sound gets shared. So when I play videos now, you'll actually get to hear them, which is wonderful, because everybody was teasing me that, hey, Ira, you're playing these videos on your lives and we can't hear the sound. And it was frustrating me, but I figured out how to do it today. So that's what happens when you that's what happens when you produce your own show. But what is this all about? Okay, so I've updated my website. This is actually my homepage. We're not going to stay here very long. We're going to switch to another spot. But read these questions real quick. Do you need marketing help? Do you need more visibility? Do you need dun, da, 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 more sales? That's the one, right? At the end of the day, you need help getting your rankings, what Google calls SERP, which stands for Search Engine Results Position. Do you need help getting your positions up higher? You probably do. Most of us do, myself included. So how do we do that? I'm going to show you. Now, on the SEO page, which is Bowman Digital Media Search Engine Optimization, I'll drop this link. Let me just grab it real quick and drop it here so everybody has it. Okay. So this is now in the comments of LinkedIn. You can click on that and it'll take you to this page. But I actually don't want you to park up at the top. Normally, I'd love for you to be here, right? Why do you need SEO? And there's a couple videos and a testimonial and then some packages. We're going to scroll past all of that. Where I want you to stop and really pay attention is right here at these black lines. Why? Because everything below this is 100% free help. I'm not asking you to buy anything. I'm really trying to educate you on what SEO is and how it works and strategies that you can implement even without hiring me and get better results. Now, I just added a brand new section. I was actually kind of embarrassed I didn't have this on there already. I talked about keywords in the pillar section, but I didn't actually call it out and talk about keywords specifically. And I just skipped past it. Isn't that wonderful? All right, hang on. There we go, right here. Keywords and why they are important. It comes back to the fundamental thing here that you need to increase sales. And how are you going to do that? I'm going to not share my screen just for a second so I can make my face bigger because I want you to look in my eyes when I'm telling you this stuff. All right, here we go. You will increase your sales if you find new ways to bring people who aren't already familiar with your company and who aren't already coming to your website, if you can bring them over from wherever they are. Now, Ira, where are they? Okay, great question. They are on Google. They are on social media. They are inside email boxes. They are inside, dare I say, their cell phones, SMS texting, messaging, phone calling, all those things. They can be inside their mailbox. I just got like 50 things in the mail today, right? So they can be any of those places. But where are they the most? Where they are the most is two places you're very, very familiar with. Number one is Google. Number two is YouTube. In fact, the discrepancy, the only thing that's even close to those two is Instagram. When you talk about MAUs or monthly active users, there are almost 3 billion people a month using Google search daily. It is good night insane. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention also Facebook. Facebook deserves that recognition too. But there are 9 billion searches being done every single day plus 9 billion plus. Insane number. 99,000 plus searches every single second on average on Google. Now, they're not always by different people. So you have a different amount of users every month versus searches every day. You gotta have to kind of keep all this straight. But here's the thing. If I like analogies. Do you like analogies? Let's say this. Let's say LinkedIn, which is where most of my audience comes from, and I love LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn's great. There are 320 million or so monthly active users on LinkedIn. 70% or more of those 320 million active users, and that's million with an M, not a B, million active users are outside the United States. So if you're a small business owner and you're looking for clients inside the United States, if you do the math, that doesn't leave you with a whole lot. It's less than 100 million. Now, that sounds like a lot, but you got to consider the different vertical markets that are represented and the different locations. Because maybe you only service your local area. Maybe you service a region of the country, but you don't service the whole country. Your geofence isn't even the United States, and maybe it's a smaller portion, right? A city, a county, a zip code, whatever. So you really got to understand where people are. Now on Google, like I said, 99,000 searches per second. If we're going to do an analogy, and that's why I brought this up, right? LinkedIn would be like, I was going to say a pond. I actually don't know that it's even that large. But let's say just like a little local pond, like real small, less than an acre of area, just, some water that filled in a hole, right? Google is the ocean, okay? It's the only ocean there is when it comes to driving website traffic. If you are focusing on everything but Google and put it on one side of the scale, and you only focus on Google and you put that on the other side of the scale, it's going to tip the scale so far. Like, think of a seesaw here. You've got a 300-pound gorilla. That's a small gorilla, actually. Let's say 900-pound gorilla. Okay. You got a 900-pound gorilla on one side, and you got a 50-pound 10-year-old on the other side, right? How's that seesaw looking? It's like pretty much as far as it'll go, right? It's not even close. Now, why do I say all this? I need you to understand how important Google is to drawing in your website traffic. It is extremely important. And what does Google use to figure out when people put in a query? Now, this is a weird word. I totally understand that, but it's Google's word, not Ira's. I didn't come up with the word query, I promise. Think about the search bar on Google. In fact, let me show you the search bar on Google because that'll be even more fun, I think. So how do I switch back? There we go. All right. So we're going to come over to Google, and I don't know what all this is about. But anyways, here we go. All right. Search bar. We're going to put in something in the search bar, right? You can put in anything. Let's put 900-pound gorilla. It doesn't matter. We're just, right? Gorilla. All right. How does Google decide what it's showing me here, right? Because in this case, this is the query, and then these are the results. Now, some of these are ads or sponsored, and some of them are not, although actually on this one, I'm not 100% sure. Let's say where to buy a 900-pound gorilla, just to make it a little bit more fun. Okay. And so now we've got some real results, and it's saying Amazon. I don't know. That's kind of funny. But anyways, this is the part I want you to focus on just for the moment. Whatever words you put into the search bar, those are the keywords that Google is considering when it does this, which is what we call organic results. And you get the ads, and it depends on search intent. There's actually a few different types. I don't want to confuse you more than I already have. So we're going to skip that for just a moment. But let's just say whatever your business is, okay? I run a marketing service. You might be an accountant, a lawyer, a chef, a masseuse, an architect, an engineer. You might be, I've got a friend who does power washing. They do residential and commercial power washing when the driveways need to be cleaned or the sides of buildings need to be cleaned, stuff like that, right? So everybody has different types of businesses. Thank you very much, Tony. This is hopefully helpful. We got a long ways to go, but this is all by way of introduction. What are keywords and how do they work? And then how to find the keywords is where I'm going. How do you find the keywords that you specifically? In fact, Tony is a speaker and a coach, right? His keywords would be different than mine, even though we're in the same geographical area, because he needs to be found for different things than I do, right? But how does Tony know which words are a waste of his time because there's no traffic coming, or because they're going to be really, really competitive, and honestly, he doesn't have a realistic shot of winning those yet, right? Over time, as you get bigger and bigger, then you can go after some of these 900-pound gorillas. But for right now, right, we want to go after ones that are winnable. So how do we figure that out? And then we want to chase ones that will help us make more money. Because ultimately, again, all of this marketing, SEO, all of this is designed to do one thing: increase the traffic that comes from wherever they are outside of our website and brings it to our website. So why? Not just for that. That would be egocentric. That doesn't pay the bills. We got to get them to our website so we can hook them in with the website and get them to convert into paying customers. That's the end objective. It isn't about popularity as much as it's about invoices. We want to invoice people. We want to get them to pay those invoices. We want them to be happy customers, right? So yeah, please tell me those keywords. Actually, Tony, do me a favor in your comments here. Give us your website address. I know I've been on your website before. Give us your website address, and I'll do something for you as a favor here. We'll do a little research for you. Okay, on the show, live on the show, real world examples. I love them. Okay, let me move this along just a little bit. I'm going to show you this section again because I want you to digest it. All right. Keywords and why they're important. Now, I've got this cool video, and actually, I just want to test. Tell me if you don't be scared, Tony. I'll be nice. Tell me if you hear the sound here. Can you hear the playing? Have you ever wondered why are keywords so important? Let me know if you guys maybe you don't even really understand what keywords are. Well, let me tell you, to be successful, to have your website be successful at drawing in visitors from Google. Just want to make sure you guys can hear the sound. Keywords are the foundation of that future success. Let me start with this. What are keywords? All right, keywords are not necessarily the things that you I want you guys to hear this part. Let me make this bigger. Instead, I want you to think about the search box on Google. Google calls this a query. It's a funny name, but it's the expression that people will put in, the terms that they will put in to the search box or the query and search for the things related to, in this case, what you do. Now, there's a distinction between what you do and what they search for sometimes. Remember this: most people searching for your service, your product, will not necessarily have the experience or the education that you do. So you have to do a little bit of research to find out what it is that they're searching for in volumes. Then you have to look and see the competition that you're up against for these terms. Why is that so important? Well, here's why it's mostly important. All right, I'm going to pause this, but I want to share this video. I want you guys to watch it later. It'll be a good refresher. But what I'm getting at there is you want to make sure that whatever term you're using, again, there's two ends of the pendulum. There is some search traffic, so it makes it worth going after, but there's not too much traffic, because any word that has a lot of traffic, high volume traffic, is also going to have high competition, guaranteed. Okay. So you've got to make sure that there's more than like 2 people a month searching for it. And you've got to make sure there isn't like 2,000 people a month searching for it, because that would be a high number. So we're going to split the difference here, and we're going to look for words as somewhere between 10 and 100 people searching for it. And then what can you expect? I'll just tell you right off the top, if you want to cheat a little bit, you can expect about 30%. Now that's the average across all industries. Some could be 40%, some could be 20%, but in most cases, the first place on Google, so page 1, position 1, that isn't an ad, you can expect about 30% on average of people to go click on that particular link website. Okay. So they're going to go to that page, whatever Google put first, about 30% of the time. So if you've got a keyword that averages about 100 people and you get 30% because you're in the first spot, that'll bring you about 30 people. Now, there's another part of the formula. I'm going to go over the formula in great detail, but I'm going to give you a little heads up just in case somebody's got to run quick. Then you have to understand what your conversion rate is. And what I mean by conversion rate is this: how many people visit your website per client that you sign up currently? You need to know that number. If you don't know that number, if you're like, I have no idea, you probably are in a little bit over your head, and we should have a conversation. I can make sure you're set up with Google Analytics and all these things that you would need to know how to track that. Okay. But let's say it's just 5%, just to make it easy. All right. If you had 30 people coming because you ranked first for a keyword on Google and you got 5% of that converted over. So it's 5% of, sorry, I got to do some math. So I have to turn my light on so my calculator with the solar thing works. Hang on a second. 30 times 0.05. All right. It's 1.5 people. So if you were to get the first place on Google, first position on Google that had 100 monthly, on average, 100 people per month were searching that key term, and you got first place, you could expect about 30 people to come over, and your conversion rate at 5% would equal about 1.5 new clients. And then let's say a new client for you is worth, let's say, $1,000. They spend $1,000 a month, or it's a one-time purchase of $1,000. You've got to figure this stuff out, because why? Well, you take the 1.5, your conversion rate, and you multiply it by the anticipated revenue that's generated per each new client, in this case 1,000, and we go 1.5 times 1,000, we have $1,500 a month. Now, if you have an SEO plan that's charging you $300 a month, and you're making an extra $1,500 a month because of the work they're doing to get you to that first place, now all of a sudden you got yourself a heck of a deal. But let's say it's the opposite. You're getting $1,500 a month, but you might be spending $4,000 a month in SEO. Now you're getting overcharged, right? So you got to kind of like work it out both ways. There's all kinds of ways to use this information. And that's really what I'm after today, is to teach you how to fish, not just give you one answer that applies to you. Although I'm happy to do that for my friend Tony, who's given me a couple different websites in the address. I got those in the content. We got this one and this one. We'll look at these in just a second. Okay. So where am I going? Well, keywords, to make a very short story long, I feel like I'm rambling here, but all right, what do? They help search engines understand what your website is about. Okay, that's one thing they do. They help you attract the right visitors to your website. What do I mean by the right visitors? People who are actually interested in whatever it is that you do, right? It doesn't help if you get a bunch of random people who come to your website who would never hire you to do the thing that you do. That's not really helpful. Okay. They help you improve your website traffic and conversion rates. There's that word that I was mentioning earlier, conversion rates. What does that mean? Conversion rates, again, is when they go from being a looky-loo or a visitor and they hit that order now button, or they sign on the dotted line. That's a true conversion. Now, it's important to note that in Google Analytics, a conversion rate can be set up as many different things. It can be a purchase. It could be they clicked on a form, they downloaded a video. I mean, it could be just about anything. So make sure you understand that I'm not talking about that analytic conversion. I'm talking about a true conversion, which means you've got revenue coming in that you didn't have coming in before. That's what we're doing here. All right. I'm going to switch this to bigger. And it didn't really make a difference. So, well, I'll stay here. Okay. Now, here are some specific benefits to using keywords on your website. It's increased organic traffic. That's stuff you're not paying for. That's very good. You want that because, pay-per-click, it has its place. I'm not going to dismiss it sleight of hand. I'm not a huge fan of it for a variety of reasons. But when you can get the traffic coming in for free, to me, that's way better. That means you earned it. You didn't pay for it, okay? Improved brand awareness is huge because now you're starting to talk about referrals and ancillary types of traffic coming to you. They didn't see your stuff or go to Google. They heard from their friend, somebody, or, their spouse or whoever that, they should check you out because you do what they need. And then higher conversion rates. Keywords will help close the deal because you're making an argument on your website that relates to the things that they're looking for, right? They don't have to read between the lines. You spell it out. Okay. So let's say, Tony, help me out, brother. We're gonna work with Tony like a workshop. We did not rehearse this. Tony had no idea, but I got his website, so I can play with Tony a little bit, and we're gonna help Tony out. All right, Tony, give me, like, would it be coach? Would it be motivational speaker? Would it be author? What what keywords do you think somebody would be searching for to find your website? We're going to do a little bit of keyword research live on the show, and I'm going to show you guys a couple different tools how to figure this out. But like for me, I can tell you right off the bat. In fact, let me share my screen and show you some for me, Tony, and then you'll kind of understand where we're going. This may help make you a little more comfortable too, because I know it can be embarrassing. It's like, hey, I wasn't expecting this pop quiz. Everybody's seeing my stuff. So let's go. There's a tool here called Uber Suggest, and it's owned by Neil Patel. And so let's do this. I'm going to come in here and just do Uber Suggest. I want to give you guys I want to give you the clean link. So, okay, fear of public speaking. Thank you. Got it. And public speaking coach. Awesome. Okay. So for Uber Suggest, click here. Okay. So you can click here and you can find this website that I'm on right now called Uber Suggest. And what am I doing there? Well, one of the things I'm going to do is, let's say, remember I said, what words you think, right? You're just like spitballing here. Like, okay, well, they should be putting in things like SEO for me, marketing for me, or or public speaking, fear of public speaking for Tony, public speaking coach, right? That's what he's doing. He's teaching people obviously how to speak on stage. Okay, cool. So now what if we come over here and we put in, can't remember what I put in exactly. Oh, I put SEO digital marketing. And I just wanted to see, like, okay, well, how much volume is there? Well, there's 1,900 words. Now, I know that means it's probably going to be pretty difficult. And it tells me now this scale right here is out of 100. So if you see anything that's 70, you need to run like the wind, unless you got mucho dinero. I don't have mucho dinero, so this one doesn't work for me. It's telling me that there's a lot of volume, which I totally understand. That's 1,900 searches per month on average for Google, but it's got a difficulty of 70%. What does that mean? That means that a lot of large players are competing. In fact, Neil Patel is one of those players, just to be completely honest with you. I study Neil's stuff. I think he's a really smart guy. There's a few of them that I really like, but I am not in the same league when it comes to success. Frankly, he's been more successful. But also, yeah, here we go. Right. Thank you for playing along with me. She's saying, yes, you need a lot of money, for those of you who are gringos in the audience. All right. Welcome to California. We speak Spanish here. Okay. So I'm not going to compete for this. It's too hard. Okay. I know that. But what I like about Uber Suggest, as the title might implicate, I think it does. If this one doesn't work for me, SEO digital marketing, what will? Well, we scroll down and we can actually see they have provided some alternatives. And this is really what I like about this tool. First of all, I am not a paying customer of Neil Patel. Ooh, he has free stuff, which I love. And you can do 3 free searches every single day. You sign in with your Google account, so you don't even have to like create an account. It makes it nice and easy, right? So then you can come and check up to 3 different keyword terms every day for free. So I like free tools. Here we go. Now I pay for a lot of tools. I just don't pay for this one. Okay. I'm going to show you another one that I do pay for in just a second. All right. But what do we have here? We have the volume. So first of all, here's the words. Now I need to explain something. I need to take one step back. This is a little idiosyncrasy of SEO, and it never has ever made any sense to me, but that's okay. I'll explain it and then it'll make sense to you. Maybe. At least you'll understand what I mean. In this world, keyword is not a singular word. It could be, right? Like SEO, okay, coaching, speaking, coffee or cafe, depending on where you are, right? Those are single words. Still would be keyword, okay? Any one of those would be a keyword. But let's say hot coffee containers, right? Or I don't know, how to clean up coffee that you spilled on your shirt. That could be a good one because trust me. Oh yeah, yes I can. It's right here. It's called Uber Suggest. Oh, I put it in. I just realized I put that in YouTube, not in LinkedIn. Okay, for Uber. Sorry guys, I can't speak and talk separately, so you just have to bear with me. For Uber Suggest free tool. Click here. Sorry guys, I know this is awful, but I run this as a one-man band, so there we go. All right, I got it in LinkedIn for you, so you can just click on it there. So this is a cool tool. Again, free. 3 free searches per day, right? So just wait for tomorrow if you need 4 or 5 or however many you need. Ultimately, you should be running probably 5 to 10 keywords per month on a small website. And what do I mean by small? I mean, like, let's say you have 10 pages, maybe you have 10 pages in a blog, right? Something like that. 5 to 10 keywords max. You don't need to like spread your content so thin that you can't really compete for 30 words. You're not going to place a rank for any of them. You're actually going to compete with yourself and it's going to confuse the heck out of Google. So pick a few that you really like. I would say start with 5 if you've never done any of this and then build yourself up to 10 and then stick with 10 until you start getting quite a bit more traffic and then hire me and I'll fix it all for you and we'll get you lots more money. That's the way to do it. All right. Like baby steps. Step that sucker up the ladder and make some money. All right. All this should help you make money. So Uber Suggest, I'm going to share my screen again. All right. So it's saying keyword, but there are multiple words. This is still considered a keyword. We call this a long tail keyword just to make it even more fun. Again, why? Just because it's a string. So it's a long tail because there's a string of words. Anyways, why don't we call it long string? I have no idea. I don't make any of this stuff up. I just, I play in this universe. And so it is what it is. But let me share how to read some of this stuff for me. Okay. SEO tools for digital marketing has 90 people per month. Now, remember the one I searched for SEO digital marketing has 1900, but has an SEO difficulty of 70, right? So I'm telling you to pass. They've actually got this little color code. You can see it. Green means go, orange means stop. If you remember that, that's all you pick up from this, that's fine. I will go for any of these. I'm not really interested in going for these. Although I'll tell you, with my company size, because I have a domain authority ranking of 55 on Moz and a 52 DR ranking on Ahrefs, and I know you probably don't know what any of that means, but in case you do, my DA score, my DR score is in the 50s. So I have lots of backlinks. I have a pretty high authority domain website, so I can compete for 40s. But if you have an average website, which I'll show you one, like when I go to Tony, again, no offense, Tony, don't be offended by any of this. This is all to help you. But when you have a regular website, oh, they just brought me some
dessert coffee.
Oh yeah, dessert coffee. Though you want to win my heart, it's through my belly. All right. Ooh, that's good. Okay. So if you have a DA score that's like 10, 15, and that's about average, the average DAs anymore, somewhere between 8 and 12, then a 5, a 15, or what is that? No, 16, excuse me, and 13. These are easy enough to go after, but I want you to look at the volumes here. Now, remember I said 10 is going to be our floor. If there's less than 10, and you'll know there's less than 10 because it'll give you a dash mark. All right. If you see a hyphen here, forget it. I don't care how easy this is. There's nothing. Right. So 10. I want to come back to something I said in the beginning. Again, a lot of this is still introductory, but I just need to make sure we are all on the same page. We are hunting here for words that we can win, but we're also hunting for words that will make an impact. Remember before when I said you're probably going to get about 30% of the clicks to go from Google's first place spot over to your website when they're coming. That's just the overall average. That's what the law of statistics with this stuff tells us, okay? So if there's 10 people and you get 3 of them and your conversion rate is 5%, that means you're going to go several months without getting any actual clients on average from that work, okay? So again, if this is where pricing makes a huge difference. If your average client is only $1,000, I'm just going to do this math again. Remember, hypothetically, because we had 30 before. And so it was 1.5 clients per month, and it came out to $1,500 because 1.5 times $1,000 is $1,500. Okay. So I'm trying to teach you this formula as we go. And I have it written down for you, so you don't have to memorize it. I just want you to kind of familiarize yourself with it, hear me say it a few times. But if we had 10 people and we get 30%, that's 3. Okay, that's easy math. Oops. It's easy math, but I typed it in wrong, so I'm just going to type 3. Okay. 3 times. Now our conversion rate, let's say it's still 5%. So we're going to go 3 times 0.05. Okay. That's 0.15. All right. Now, if you take the $1,000 that you make per client times the 0.15, that means you're making on average $150 per month on this keyword. Remember my hypothetical. You're paying an SEO person or Ira, somebody, $300 a month to rank you on SEO, and you're only getting this one spot and it's bringing in 150. You're overpaying Ira or whoever else, right? I would never do that to you. But there it is, folks, right? Now, let's say a different example. Let's say you have a high ticket, high profit thing, and it's like $45,000. Now, if you had the same hypothetical, one keyword, traffic volume 10 per month, you're getting 3 of those to come over, and you're getting, so that's 0.15. Your conversion rate is still 5%, but you have $45,000 instead of, $45,000 profit or revenue coming in instead of 1,000. Watch what happens. Now you're making $6,750 at $6,750, and you're paying somebody like Ira, let's say $750 a month. Then you're still pocketing $6,000 a month, and you love Ira. Everybody's happy. So you see how all the different variables can have a huge impact. Now let's say we do the same thing, and you find a word that's worth a traffic score of 100. Let's just come back to this example here. So we come back here and we go, okay, well, this is a 60. We're probably not going to go for that one. But these are 43s. Maybe we want to try our hand on this one. Okay. So ring-in SEO and digital marketing. So if you were to compete for this one, okay, there are competition of 43. That's out of 100. So it's less than 50. And now, again, maybe you have a website score, a domain authority score that's like a 28 to a 40, somewhere in there. This is realistic. Okay. So you take in this case, you would take your 70. You're going to multiply the 70 by the 0.3, because it's 30% is what you can expect just off the top of the volume. Okay. So you got 70 people times 0.3. That equals 21. Now, again, let's say you have this $1,000. No, let's make a new number. Let's say it's $2,500. Okay. So $2,500 is your profit. Okay. So you could do the 2021 times 2,500, but we've missed one number, and I'm going to correct that in just a second. Okay. So 2,100 times, or 2,500 times 21 is 52,500. But you know what we forgot to do? We forgot to do our conversion rate. So it's, again, go with, actually, let's do a lower one, because 0.5 actually is a little high for a lot of industries. It's sometimes more like 0.3, right? So 3%. of people. So in other words, every 100 people who come to your website, about 3 of them become clients. Okay. Now, this is something you can figure out mathematically to a T, as long as you're using a tool like analytics to, and there's others out there free too, plugins like Monster, Moonlights, and anyways, there's other programs out there that you can use, but analytics or a tracking pixel is even better. But you can take that, and so let's take the 52,500 and let's times it by 0.3, so 3%, 0.03. And if that was the case, we'd be making 1575 per month. Again, if you're paying 750 for SEO, but you brought in an additional 1575, that's still a good deal because you're making more money. And again, once they're customers, what happens? Most of my small business owners, their number one source of new business is referrals. Like Tony, if I ask Tony Taylor, brother, what's your number one source of new business? Tony is most likely statistically to tell me that Ira, it's word of mouth referrals. I love them. I wish I could have more of them. Yes, you do. How do you get more? You get more clients. And the more clients you get, they spread the word. So you increase your referrals by bringing in just new clients from Google, the Google sphere, the big G, right? So you get these clients, even if you could get them for just $1 more, like you only make one extra dollar in total profit than it cost you to bring them in. It's still worth bringing them in because of the domino effect that happens after. You've got a bigger foundation of clients who can help spread for those referrals. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, referrals and begging. Absolutely. All right. It's true. Look, this is, there are stages to business and again, I love that Tony's being so open and honest, right? We're having fun here, but we're also trying to educate, right? This is the normal growing cycle of businesses. They take stairs to climb. And SEO will help you, but you have to understand, especially in the beginning when you're trying to do it all yourself, you have to understand how all this works. That's why I'm painstakingly going through this. Now, I probably should have shared this already, so let me share my screen again. Because remember I said you don't have to remember anything? Here's why you don't have to remember it. I have written a blog. It's called 3 Benefits of Using the Right Keywords. In fact, as soon as the show's over, I'm going to take this video off of YouTube and I'm going to stick it in there so people can watch this too. But here's the deal. I have all kinds of stuff in here. What are keywords? What is SEO strategy? I have links to those. So whenever you see an orange word, and by the way, there's Uber Suggest again. So here's your tools. There's Google has a keyword planner. This actually was really intended for paid ad use, pay-per-click ads, but you can use it for brainstorming ideas and figuring out volumes. Ahrefs Keyword Explorer is actually my favorite of these tools, and I have paid access to that. So I'm going to show you some of that in a minute. SEMrush Keyword Magic Tool. Now I got to be completely transparent with you. I pretty much hate SEMrush, but they do a great job with the charts that they use. I just don't believe them. Is to me, take it all with a grain of salt because they don't match. There's Moz, there's Ahrefs, and there's SEMrush. And Moz and Ahrefs pretty much stay about the same. And then there's SEMrush, which doesn't match. It's like back watching Sesame Street and going, one of these things doesn't belong, and that's SEMrush. But anyways, it's a tool you can use. Uber Suggest, and then another Neil Patel product is called Answer the Public. And Answer the Public is actually one of my favorite free tools. Now you can pay for it. In fact, I'm going to click on it real quick because I didn't do that yet. Let me show you how this works. So let's go here of public speaking, right? And this is for Tony. Now, I want you to know that you can change the location, but I pretty much deal in the United States. So for me, it's always United States. But anyways, there we go. Okay, when we hit search, this is super complicated, right? So far. All right. So now it's doing its thing. It's running its algorithm. It's checking against Google data. is actually what it's doing, which is really cool. Google does a horrible job of telling us how their algorithm works, but does a great job of sharing results for people because they want you to spend money. So it's in their best interest to show you things. Now, check this out, Mr. Tony Taylor. All right. And everybody else watching along. Fear of public speaking. There are 663 results for that. So the way this thing works, it's a little bit confusing, but it's not terribly confusing. What it's saying is there's monthly search volume, 4.4 thousand. Now, what do we know right off the bat without looking at any of this stuff? I've already told you, if it's over 100, it's probably going to be too competitive for you to go for fear of public speaking by itself. We need to add a little bit more in there, Tony, to reduce the competition. The longer the keywords get, the more specific they get, right? Like add near me or Southern California or Los Angeles, Orange County, something like that. Now you're going to eliminate a lot of your competition. You're also going to eliminate a lot of search volume, but that's okay because we're going to hone in on the stuff we can actually win. And that's where a Uber suggests or a Google Keywords Planner or Ahrefs Keyword Planner, that's where those tools will be better than this one. But this will give you ideas. This Answer the Public is basically, it helps you with keyword ideas, but it also helps you with content suggestions when you go to write. Yes. Yes, it is. So Ina said, Answer the Public is free. It is free. There is a paid version with all Neil Patel's products. In fact, with most of these products, they have what we call a free daily use limit. And then you have, a variety of upgrade options from there. Let's just say that, right? You can spend money on any of these if you want. Can I share the link? Ina, I want you to do this. I have all of this. Where did it go? I do. I have it all. I lost it. You know what I did? Oh, I did that. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna get you there, and I'm gonna put this in the. If you go to my blog, okay. Oh, it's not there at the moment. Hang on. I have a thing going where my latest blog is not showing up on my screen. I got to get that fixed. Okay, so it's right here. But let me put this. Yeah, he bought it. I think it was about a year ago, Tony, to answer your question. Find the keyword blog. The reason why you want to save this keyword blog is because this has everything I'm talking about and more. It has every tool. It has the videos. It has everything in it. Okay. So, and you can follow me. Yeah, that'd be cool. And I do have a YouTube channel. Absolutely. It's just my name, Ira M. Bowman. If you go there, you'll find it. I have lots of followers or subscribers, which is cool. But all right. Let me come back here because the reason why I shared that with you, Ina, is because see right here, I've got all these tools are right here. Answer the Public, Uber Suggest, SEM Rush, Ahrefs, and Google Keyword Planner. They are all right there for you because I knew that everybody is going to be like, hey, I want this and I don't know where to get it. And I know this is not your wheelhouse or anybody's wheelhouse per se. So I wanted to make it just super obvious, even though I'm going to tell you that as an SEO guy, this pains me to do this because what is it going to do? It's going to have you go from my website to their website. And that actually doesn't help me, but that's okay. It helps you. And this is about me helping you guys. So that's why I put it in there. But you want to read this, right? 3 benefits of using the right keywords. Specific benefits to using keywords on your website are this. It's increased organic traffic, it's improved brand awareness, and it's higher conversion rates. We've already talked about that. Tips for using keywords effectively. You want to use your keywords in your page titles, your meta description, and throughout your content. Now, if you don't know what page titles are, that's specifically your H1 tags, HTML1 tags. When you go to Word, ooh, I could do that. Man, I didn't even think about sharing that today, but I'm going to share Word and I'm going to show you how to do some of this stuff. I wasn't intending to do this part, but I might as well teach you all the way, right? And we're going to go overtime today, but it is what it is. Totally fine. Okay, so here we go. This is a Word document. Let's say I wanted to go, and I'm going to use Tony again because Tony's my buddy. And all right, fear of public speaking coach in Orange. something like that. All right. So I'm telling you that you want to use this as an H1 tag. Now, most of you do this, right? But then if you want to make a title, what do you guys do? You do this incorrectly, every single one of you. I really wish, and I like Arial better than Calvary, sorry. But what you do is something like that. You'll come here and you might make it bold and you go, voila. And then you start typing, this is all about fear of public speaking. Okay. And you continue blah, blah, blah. All right. And then you get to another section and you go, okay. That was weird. I don't know what that was, but all right, there we go. And then you come here and you do it again. You go, okay, I want to need another. So I'm going to make that Arial. And I'm going to make that, let's say 18, because I want this to be my title. And I'm going to make it bold again. And that's how you do it. But let me tell you, that is 100% the incorrect way to do it, because Google does not know the difference between this and this. They see it as exactly the same. When you come to format your, which is, oh, where is that? Right here. No, styles. Hang on a second. I just gotta, I look at this just a little bit different when oh, here we go. It's right here. I can see it. Okay. So see how we've got this set up? Nope. That is actually not what I'm looking for either. Hang on just a second. Bear with me, because I need to find this so I can show you. It's super simple when I have it all the way expanded, but it's usually right here. I don't know how to show you this in this view. Man, this is a bummer. Oh, here we go. It's right here. Okay. So see this right here? You've got this icon. It's the paragraph. So it doesn't matter what the font size is or if it's bold or not. In the code, in the actual HTML code, it's characterized as paragraph. So Google doesn't put any special weight on this over this. It reads it exactly the same. So how do you fix it? What you need to do is you need to come here and hit heading 1. Now it's going to change the way it looks. It made it smaller, harder to read, doesn't look good. Don't worry about that, because when you put it in your WordPress blog, WordPress is going to see the code that's associated with it and make it look correct. Okay, I could prove that, but I don't want to necessarily spend all of his time on it. But I just want to highlight this for you. Now, everything else, every other title in your, or heading to be specific, every other heading in your blog should be either H2 or H3. That's it. You don't use H4, 5, or 6. You don't use 2 titles. You don't use a bunch of H1s. You have a title and you have H2s or H3s. That's it. So then for this one, I would come here and hit that and see it made it look different. Now, if you want that to be bigger just because you're obsessive compulsive, then go ahead and change the font size. This, again, makes no difference to Google because it was classified as H2. It doesn't matter if this one's bigger than that one or smaller or whatever. This really, again, when you're setting up your blog articles and stuff in Word, forget the way it looks, because as soon as you import it over into WordPress, it's going to change the way it looks anyways. But it's extremely important that you understand these headings and use them properly, okay? The number one thing I have to fix for every single one of my clients when they send me their blogs is I have to go in and re-edit everything to make sure that it's formatted correctly, because you don't get the SEO value if you do it wrong. You have a lot of content, but no headings. So the weight of it is as much in the headings as it is in the content. If you have a document with no headings, first of all, it's not going to be Yoast friendly, right? So your flexibility rules, your score is going to go down, and Google's not going to see the value in sharing that. You don't feel bad, Tony. Most people don't know that. I would say 99.9% of people on the planet, probably 99.9999% of people don't know that. There's people in the SEO space that mess it up still. It's amazing to me how many people don't get this right. Okay, so why is that important? Because again, when I come back to share my screen and I pull this back up, and so where are we at? We are here. Okay, so you need to make sure that your page titles, Okay. And that's so your titles and your headings, your meta description, which goes, I don't have time to get into it, but meta description is kind of like, okay, I'm having a drink coffee. If there was an ingredients list on the drink coffee, which there might be, I don't know. Anyways, that's something else. But I have water. Hopefully, water is just water. I don't have any other products on me. Um, I quit snacking as much as I used to. So I used to have snacks here, but I'm losing weight, so it's worth it. But anyways, metadata is kind of like the wrapper of the product. Tells you what's in it without affecting what's in it. But metadata is extremely important to SEO. It's about 20%, in fact, of your overall SEO score. So you got to have your metadata correct. But if you don't know what metadata is, you need to hire somebody like me to come in and clean your metadata up and we'll get it fixed for you. But that's not really something you're probably going to be able to do on your own unless you are a coder or a WordPress developer, whether that's front end or back end, doesn't really matter. Full stack, whatever. Yeah, then of course I don't need to tell you what metadata is. You already know. All right. And again, then once you have that stuff correct throughout the content as well. In fact, Uber Suggest has got a cool feature. If you come down here, it'll actually give you content ideas and you can mix all of these in to your content, just, hitting them. And Keyword Planner does it. SEM Rush's tool does it. I think Ahrefs does it. Let's go over to Ahrefs one real quick and see if it has content suggestion. Oh no, I'm not on that particular tool. Hang on just a second. I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do this, and that's what I needed to do. Okay, and then so this is, just so everybody knows, this is a tool. You, I don't know if you can use this one for free or not. I'm gonna sign in, and hang on a second. I'm gonna sign in. I'm gonna sign in privately. Oh, I'm already signed in. That's cool. All right, I'm already signed in to Ahrefs. So there we go. So let's get rid of these. Okay, and let's say I want to come to Keyword Explorer. Now I'm in Keyword Explorer, and I can just type something in. So let's go fear of public speaking, just because that's the example we're using. Fear of public speaking. Okay, and now look here, you can check Google, YouTube, Bing, whatever. Never waste your time searching Bing or Yahoo, because frankly, these two are like less than 3% of the overall search volume traffic. Google is, for search engines, Google is number one. It's not even close. The second by volume is actually YouTube, which is owned by the same company that owns Google. They own the number one and number two search engines on the planet. It's a monopoly for sure. But anyways, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the search bar, and now it's going to do, it's going to come and it's going to give me a lot. Now remember, I've already given you a clue that if it's 3.6 thousand or it's 500 or 450, these are probably going to be way too difficult for you to go for. But it gives you content suggestions. It also gives you other words that you might want to consider. Now, look, these are even larger, because usually larger is better, right? Yes, they are better, but they're also muy rico. They're more expensive, and we just don't have the budget to really compete. So why play a game you're going to get your butt annihilated and not make any money? You're just wasting your time and your effort. So take the advice from me. So what do I do? I'll click here, view all, and then I'm going to just scroll my Happy Gilmore butt down here to the 100 number. And then these are the ones that I'm really going to start to focus on. Okay. That's how I do it. You could do it however you'd like, but that's how I do it. Now, once you have an idea of what you're looking for, so let's look here. This is keyword difficulty. This is that gas gauge on the other tool that I was showing you. So what do we say? Orange. Well, it's supposed to be red, but it's orange. Don't do not pass go. Do not collect $200. This is, forget it. It's too expensive. Yellow, again, depending on your budget, depending on your current website rankings, I, for one, would not be afraid to go after a 41. Again, I have a domain ranking that's 55. It puts me ahead of almost every website on the earth. There's like a million, 1.2 million of the 1.1 billion websites on the planet Earth. My website ranks higher than them. So there's only 1.2 million left for me to pass. And I'm working on it each and every day. But for most of you, you're not in that position. The difference between, like, in fact, I was just talking to my good friend Mike O'Connor. His AREF score went up by 2 points in the last month, and he passed, I think he wanted to say like 40,000 different websites. It's just a 2-point bump, but his is higher than mine. He's one of those 1.2 million people I'm chasing, which is fun because I actually helped him get that ranking. But anyways, I digress. The fact is, let's say you're a 12 and you go to a 13, you're going to pass millions of websites. If you go from like a 13 up to a 25, you're going to pass millions, tens of millions of websites. It's that stiff of competition. So you can kind of look at this and go, okay, well, if my domain authority is higher than the competition rate, then I've got a pretty good shot of getting it. That's kind of, I mean, it's not exact, but it's kind of a barometer that you can use. But if I come down here and start finding green, 28. Now, I wouldn't actually make green anything over 20 if I was doing this, Neil Patel. I know Neil and I don't always agree on everything. He's smarter than me. You should probably follow Neil Patel's advice more than mine. But if you want to take Ira Bowman's advice, I would not make it green if it was 20 or higher. Anything under 20 is like pretty simple to go get. So my advice, find 5 that are 20 or less and spend your time going for those. Because if they're 10 or 50 or 100 each, and you can get 30% of each of those, you start getting 500 to 1,000 visitors a month, and your conversion rate's 5% or 3%. You can start making some quick money pretty fast and not spend a lot of money on SEO. You can do a lot of this for free. Now, look at this. This is interesting. It's saying this is a 28, Tony. Are you paying attention, Tony? 7 tips to overcome your fear of public speaking. That's 7 tips. Specifically, you got to set it up just like this. But Tony, write this down. That's 28 competition level. You can compete, Tony. And you got 200 folks there. If you were to get to the number 1 spot of 28 and you got 30% of that, let's just do it real quick, Tony. So we got 28 people times 0.3. That's 8.4. Let's say your conversion rate is 0.5. So half of 1%. That means you're going to get a client basically every other month. If your client's spending $3,000, that means you're averaging $1,500 a month, right? And if you're not spending any SEO because it's relatively simple to get this one, that might be a way that you, Tony, can get an extra $1,500 a month without a lot of work. You read my blog and I'll teach you how to do it. Because in this, I teach you how to do it. All right. How to utilize the keywords. Use keywords on page titles, meta descriptions. We already talked about that. This will help your website show up in the search results for those relevant keywords. You really need an exact match in the title. And then you need your headings down below to include some of it, like fear of public speaking or how to overcome fear of public speaking, how I mastered my fear of public speaking. You kind of get the idea, right? And then in the body of your content, you talk about it a little bit too. But this is why I came over to this one, because in that list, remember, I resorted it. Dang it. All right. Well, there was suggestions. Here we go. Okay. Suggestions. So now we've got other ones that are like it. And you start to use some of these, just intersperse them in your content, right? Find the green ones. How I overcame my fear of public speaking. I already said that one, right? Okay. 7 tips. That's our baby. Oh, look at this one. This is a number 2. Tony, write this down. Fear of public speaking quotes. 60 people a month are searching that. There's only a competition level of 2. Now, I've been saying that you're only going to get 30%, but with such low competition, you might actually get more. This is a situation, if I was doing your SEO, Tony, where I would jump all over this like it is, well, for me, it's Cool Whip on top of ice cream. That's a pretty precarious spot to be in my house. If you're Cool Whip on ice cream, I am going to eat you all day long. That is what it is. All right. But look at that, right? 60 people. Let's say you just got the 30%. I think that's is it 6 people? 0.3 times 60. Oh, it's 18 people. All right. And if your conversion rate, again, let's say it's 0.05, that's 0.9. That's 9/10 of one customer every single month. So if you're making $3,000, again, that's like $2,700. $2,700 in a month. And all you got to do is start using fear of public speaking quotes. Write a blog about it, write a page about it. Make sure you've got your H1 set up correctly, your H tag set up correctly. Tony, do me a favor, write your blog, send it to me. I'll edit that one for you for free. I'll send it back to you. You post that. You're going to get some traffic just because you're watching this show. All right. I'll help you out. That's my treat from me to you, Tony. All right. So you guys kind of get the idea here, though. This is how it works. All right. So here's another big thing, Tony. Whenever you put your pictures on your website, so you've got a blog that has a photo in it, you want to make sure you use the keyword in the alt description. I know that's not what alt description is supposed to be for, but too bad. That's the rules. Whatever your main image is, that needs to include your keywords verbatim. So inside this, it says this. Why do you think it says that? Because that's my keywords I'm chasing. 3 benefits of using the right keywords is a specific keyword set that I'm chasing with this article. And there you go. All right. So make sure it's inside your alt text description, which I just highlighted somewhere. There it is right there. All right. This will help search engines to understand what your images are about and help you rank higher. Build backlinks to your website from other high quality websites. Well, this is a bigger part of your SEO strategy. But let's say, Tony, let's say you wrote Project Help You Grow, because that would fit more. Project Help You Grow. You wrote an article for me, and you can do this, Tony. Write the article about how to overcome your fear of public speaking. You write all the article, and inside it, you include a link from the article that you're going to write for me, and it goes over to your website. Now you've picked up a free backlink from projecthelpyougrow.com to one of your 2 websites. And how does that help you? Well, it's going to increase the number of backlinks that go from somewhere else online over to your website. And you need to do that because that's how Google is going to know that you're trustworthy. It assumes you're authoritative when people are sharing your information on their websites that point back to your website. That's one of the ways that you can do it. There's a variety of ways. Again, we don't have time to cover that in this show, but include keywords in guest blogs and add backlinks to your website. And here's a trick for you that I don't know that I actually cover in this article, but we call this anchor text. Okay, I'm highlighting orange words. If you were paying attention earlier, you know that this is a hyperlink. If you click on it, it's going to take you to another place on the internet. But did you know that the words used actually matter? Right? It's not just random. I know a lot of people think it is because again, they don't understand how all this really works. But this is what we call anchor text. You want to include your keyword, your target keyword in the article, especially guest articles that you write for other people's websites to, so they call that guest posting or guest blogging. When you write an article for somebody else and you're going after a keyword set, what you want to do is include that keyword set in anchor text. In other words, make it clickable, add the link inside it, because Google gives special preference to anchor text. All right. And again, if I've lost any of you, I really apologize, but I got to keep going because we're already 10 minutes over time. All right. So lower search engine rankings. If you're not targeting the right keywords, your website is likely to show up, less likely to show up in the results. In other words, you're going after big ass words that you can't compete for, and you're not getting any traffic is because you've competed for the wrong words. So that's what happens if you're using the wrong keywords. That's the section we're in. All right. You're attracting the wrong visitors. In other words, you started talking about, let's say Tony's talking about public speaking, but he's ranking for singing in public. Right? I don't know that Tony's trying to teach people how to sing in public. It's certainly not like a music teacher, right? So if he's got people only coming to his website, they're looking for, how to sing better, how to project more, how to overcome stage fright to sing. There might be some crossover there, but there might not be, right? Those might not be the right people for Tony. So those would be the wrong keywords then. Okay. So you don't want to attract the wrong crowd. Why? Because a couple things. First of all, when people come to your website and they don't see what they're looking for right away, they leave. We call it a bounce. Same problem with pay-per-click ads, frankly. I don't like pay-per-click ads because they're highly inefficient. Because if people don't see exactly what they were looking for, or your website is a slow at all, they leave. And that hurts you because Google pays attention to the traffic patterns of your website. How long they stay, how many pages they click on. Are they watching your videos? Are they clicking on your what Google calls interactive media? Are they contacting you? Are they converting? It's paying attention to how many times they come back to your website. So many different reasons why you would rather have less traffic that's better traffic than more traffic that's uninterested, not interested at all. That can hurt you and cause your rankings in the SERP to go way down. You could have the number one rated website on any Google keyword and have a high bounce rate and lose it fast. And you might not fall to number 2. You might fall to number 9 or even off the first page. Your bounce rate is extremely important to understand what it is, to monitor it, to figure out why it is what it is, and then work on anything you can do to fix it. Again, there's people like me that can help you diagnose and fix it. But your bounce rate, if you don't know what a bounce rate is and you have a website, you're in trouble and you need to talk to me. Okay. And I offer a free 30-minute consultation. By the way, I give people lots of solutions for free, even if they never hire me. I just like helping people. That's why I do this show. All right. So understand the opportunity cost of using the wrong keywords. It's really, really important. How much are your keywords worth? I'm getting to this because I've been sharing this formula all along, but I actually have it written out. If you are a nerd and you want to know the actual formula that I use, I've got a standard deviation here. So I've got it written down or expressed twice. And here is the better version in my estimation. So this is the one that I would actually use, but let's look at it. You've got the keyword bottom line value. It equals the keyword traffic. Now, don't let this word confuse you because I actually explain it above, but it stands for search engine results position percentage of traffic. Because let's say you don't get to number 1. Let's say you get to number 2. Ira, what is the value, estimated value of the second position? Great question. It's somewhere about 20%. It can be higher, it can be lower. But just like the first place position is roughly 30%, the second place position is roughly 20%, and the third place position is roughly 10%. So I don't have to do a lot of extra checking when a keyword SERP lands in position 1, 2, or 3. I know without doing much work how much volume that is worth. I actually explain in this article how you can figure out exactly what it's worth by finding out who's in that current position that you're trying to gun for, and then see how much traffic comes from them. I show you how to do it. I was going to show you how to do that today on the show, but I've slowed down, and I think that it's appropriate for what I've done. But I do explain it completely in the article, and I probably will make a video and add it inside the article because I just posted this last night in preparation for the show. So there's no videos inside here yet, but I will be adding some. So that's one I'll probably do. So if you're looking for, well, Ira, how do I know how much position number 7 on this specific keyword is worth? Come back to this article. Give me a few days. I'll create the video. I'll insert it and you can watch it there. But here's what it is. Okay. It's keyword traffic times your SERP percentage of traffic times your conversion rate times your sales average. And what I mean by sales average is, okay, what's the value of an average sale? So like for me at Bowman Digital Media, I'm just going to be completely blunt here. It's about $1,250 per customer per month. So if you do $1,250 times any given month times however many customers I sign up, that's about what I make on my new clients. I have some clients who spend a lot more. I have some that spend less, of course. Some people are just onesie, twosie orders, right? They order like a la carte, but most of my clients are on some kind of a plan, if you will. So $1,250 is the average. All right. But so I take that, I would go $1,250 and whatever your advertising cost is. And let me be clear here. This includes SEO. SEO is advertising. Even if you're not getting like an ad, you're paying for somebody to do this magic stuff in the background. It still is coming out of your pocket. It's coming out of the sales. So how do you figure it out? Well, I give you a real life example here. Let's say you have keyword traffic of 1,000, which would be the absolute most I would personally compete for, because again, I know competition rates for anything over 1,000 is going to be too high for somebody in my position for my company size, right? So you've got a SERP percentage, first place, it's 30%. You've got a conversion rate. In my case, my conversion rate is a little higher than most people, partly because I'm good at what I do, partly because of the industry I'm in, but 10% conversion rate. So in other words, about 1 in every 10 people who come to my website become a client. Part of that's because I'm really good at sales too, just in case you guys don't know that. All right. Average profit. Now I've got $1,500 here. For me, it would be $1,250. I've got an SEO cost here at $2,000, but for me, it's actually zero because I do it myself, or my company does it for me, is to be more accurate. But let's say that would be an additional 43,000. If you had 1,000, a keyword where it had 1,000 search volume per month, 1,000 visitors, 1,000 people on Google searching for that keyword. You got to the first place, so you got 30% of it. You had a conversion rate of 10%. You had average profit of $1,500 per month. You were spending $2,000 a month on SEO, which will give you a lot of good stuff, by the way. You would make an additional $43,000. That it's $45,000 minus the 2,000. That's how that works. Okay. So, anyways, there's an equation for you to figure it out. So now we talk about this is overall sales. Okay. So now we talk about cost of goods sales just to drive it all the way home. Let's say your cost of goods sold is 50%, which is probably a little bit higher than most people because most people charge more than 200% of their cost of goods sold. But let's say it was just 50% margin. That means you would make, in this hypothetical alone, just for this one keyword, you'd make an extra $21,500 a month in profit. That's bottom line. That's really good. Okay. So, anyways, these are not typical results, but it is a hypothetical, and I'm just showing you how to use the equation. The last thing I'm going to talk about before I hop off here, because I got to go eat dinner. We came on late. I don't know if you guys noticed that. I changed the time of the show. It used to run for the last 18 months or so. We've been doing it at 11 a.m. Pacific and 2 p.m. Eastern, but I changed it to 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, because I want to tell you something else a lot of people don't know. The internet is busier at night than it is during the day. Most of you are spending a lot of time making posts and content, creating content, and sending out content in the middle of the day when people are busy working. And I just want you to think about, I use this all the time, and it's so simple. What time of day do you watch your television? And why do you watch it at that time? You typically watch it at night, and you watch it because you're done with all your work. Everything is done. You got free time. Okay. If you check with your local cable provider, internet service provider, and ask them what time the internet is busiest where you are, every single time zone, anywhere in the world, anywhere. The answer is this. I'm just going to save you from looking, but spot check me, and then you'll see that I'm pretty smart. Here we go. 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. is the busiest time of day for any given time zone in the world for the internet. So in other words, if you want more traffic, don't post everything at 8 a.m. or 4 a.m. or 6 a.m. or 10 a.m. or noon even. I changed my show so that I could be on in that 7 to 11 range in the East Coast. Why the East Coast, Ira? Because over 50% of the population in the United States, my target market, it's right in that sweet spot of 7 to 11. Now, I know I'm going up against Monday Night Football tonight, and trust me, it's painful for me because my favorite team is playing. And if you haven't figured it out who my favorite team is, just look at my logo and try to figure out the color pattern, and you'll probably be able to tell who my favorite team is, even though they suck. Is what it is. Raiders suck right now. But there you go. Here's what I want you to remember. Keyword volumes and keyword competition, they change. It's not static. It's dynamic. So you need to come back and look at this stuff periodically, because if you're getting, here's the deal. I mean, just common sense, but rubber meets the road here. If you're getting 20, 30, 40 people a month to come to your website every month from dominating a first spot on Google, and you're not spending anything to do that, or you're spending very little to do that, say you're spending like $300 a month to do that, don't you think that somewhere out there there's another hungry entrepreneur who's licking their chops? They're licking their lips going, I can take that Tony Taylor. Maybe not in a street fight, brother, but probably in an SEO fight. I probably could take you, right? And that's probably what they're thinking too. Like, hey, I can go get that and I can steal 25, 30 visitors a month and I can get those conversions coming over to me, right? So just make sure that you periodically, and I would say probably it's not necessary that you do this, every single month, although you want to keep an eye on how you're doing your SERP positions. But I'm talking about deep dive keyword research. Probably would suggest doing it at least once a quarter, if not at least twice a year. Split it up, set it up on your calendar where you've got, 1 month here and 6 months later, you do it again. Now, Tony, I didn't get to do what I really wanted to do with you, brother. And that was I was going to check out your website and your SERP rankings and some of your keyword positions and those things. But hopefully, the things that I did give you with some of those keywords to go after will suffice. You'll be happy with that. And again, I offered to give you a free edit for your next blog. If you want to send that to me, I will edit it for you and format it so that it's proper. Then you can use that as a template moving forward, if you like, or you can hire us and we'll just do it all for you. But anyways, we'll do that as a present just because I appreciate your help. Look, I want to come back to why keywords are so important. This is fundamental. Why do we do keywords? We do keywords really simply because of this right here. If you want more sales, if you need help ranking higher on Google, if you need marketing help because you're not getting the visibility that you want, keywords are without a doubt the foundation on how you're going to get Google to pay attention to you. You're going to increase your traffic with good quality keyword use. When you target the right keywords, your website is more likely to show up in the search results. And I mean at the top of the search results, not somewhere on page 11, because nobody's going to find you on page 11. You probably aren't even going to go to page 11 to find your company, which you should figure out where you rank. And again, Google Analytics will help show you where you rank without doing an incognito search and searching. But anyways, I digress. Improved brand awareness. Again, get those SEO clients to come over or prospects to come over, convert them, 5%, 3%, 10%, whatever your conversion rate is, get those new clients signed up because now you get more word of mouth. It spreads your brand awareness and it helps with higher conversion rates because what they see and what they're reading is the things that they're actually interested in. That's how that helps there. Okay. So tips for using keywords effectively. Use keywords in your pages, meta description, throughout your content. Long tail keywords. That just means not one word or two word combinations, but think like 4, 5, 6. That's probably where most of you should live. 4, 5, 6. Consider your target audience and the keywords they actually use. This is incredibly important. You need to figure out what your demographic, which the ICP, which stands for ideal client profile, what is the terminology they're using inside Google? Because that's where the money really is. Analyze your competitors to see what keywords they're using. You can use SEMrush, you can use Ahrefs, you can use Moz. Any of those tools will help you figure out what your competitors got going on, where their traffic's coming from. You can try and figure out how you can usurp some of that. Absolutely. All is fair in SEO love and war. There's nothing out of bounds there. As long as you're following Google's suggested safe methods and you're not trying to cheat the system. Look, you're not smart enough to cheat Google. Google is so sophisticated. They have 250 plus different variables inside their algorithm. Just think about it this way. How would Google look at me doing this? If you think it's favorable, then do it. If you think it's unfavorable, don't do it. Because even if their Google does, if the algorithm currently doesn't penalize it, probably a future one will, and you can get delisted from Google by cheating the system. It is not worth getting those Google penalties or getting delisted at all. All right. So again, this is a free article. It takes 5 minutes or so to read it. I would suggest that you bookmark this. Again, I have the link here in LinkedIn that you can just go. But if you are not sure where to go ahead and open a browser, type in Bowman Digital Media, hit enter, and then come over here. Actually, you know what? For this one, just come all the way down to the bottom. Made it easy for you. Just scroll all the way down to the bottom, and then it's right there. 3 benefits to using the right keywords on Discover, our latest blog post, and that'll help you out. I am 27 minutes over time. I kind of knew that I was going to go long today. Thank you so much, Tony, for hanging out with me. And whoever else is still on, I really appreciate it. Hope this show time, this new show time works for everybody. I realize I had some loyal fans that probably couldn't make the adjustment on the time switch with me. But here's what I want to say. If you go to youtube.com, type in Ira Bowman, boop, I pop up just like that. Follow me. You can see all of the Marketing Mondays. Now, if this is the first time you've ever seen the show, let me tell you, you're in for a treat. I got hundreds of these things in the can, so you can watch them. I've covered all kinds of things. I'll continue to cover everything. The point of the show is pretty simple. We help people increase their visibility online. That's what my company does at Bowman Digital Media. That's what I'm trying to do on the show, because I fully realize that there are people who would love to pay me, but they can't afford me. So I'm trying to get you guys enough business through these tips and share some of these techniques and get you some fundamental understanding of how marketing works, so you can increase your overall sales, and then you can pay Ira and his team of SEO professionals, and we can do the work for you and free up your time. Because I can tell you this, I know firsthand what it's like to be a small business owner. I is one, right? You have so many things to do. The things that you can offsource and still make more money, you should highly consider that. I freed myself from this prison as soon as I came to the conclusion that just because I'm the best person to do it doesn't mean I should still be doing it. You got to look at this equation. This is bonus content for all you small business owners out there, right? But if the cost to source it is relatively cheap, even if they can't do it as well as you, as long as they can do it satisfactory, it's worth considering doing, because it frees you up then to think about the bigger picture and to do some of the things that are more expensive, right? Like generate higher revenue. Or let me tell you something that's changed my life. Spend more time with your family. Spend more time exercising. I don't know if you noticed, but I've slimmed down quite a bit. I'm 38 pounds down, Tony Taylor. I've lost 38 pounds in the last 6 months. And part of that is because I'm not so busy at my desk 12 to 15 hours a day anymore like I used to be, because I've hired other people to do some of the work for me, right? So anyways, there's friendly advice from me to whoever needs to hear it out in the crowd. I will be back next week. New time, same time. Mondays, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can time correct for wherever you are in flyover country or watching around the world. My name is Ira Bowman. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope I've helped teach you how you can utilize keywords to make more money for your business. If you have any questions, go ahead and send me a private message. Leave a comment in the show. Even if you're watching it later, I still check them. And otherwise, I will see you next week. Have a great rest of your week, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. BowmanDigitalMedia.com